So hi, I'm Gail from the CETO Foundation, and I have with me today Mikele D'Arcangelo of ACR, and we're going to be talking about all things flares.
Perfect. Thanks for having me, Gail.
Really glad to have a chance to chat.
I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about the CETO Foundation and how does it differ from CETO?
Sure thing. We actually get that question all the time. So CETO Foundation is the nonprofit side of CETO Services International. So everyone knows about CETO. They're the yellow boats on the water, and they are the ones that are going to come get you 24/7, 365. So whether you broke down on the water, you ran out of gas, or whatever you need marine assistance for, they're the leading marine assistance on water provider. So they're going to come get you. But we are the nonprofit side. So we promote boating safety and education, and we hope that our work is going to help keep boaters safe and having fun on the water so that they can do all the things that they need to do to be able to return to the water every day that they want to be out.
That's awesome. So what type of work does the CETO Foundation do?
Good question. We've actually got a couple main projects. Our first is our life jacket loaner program, and we provide life jackets that boaters can borrow and return at no charge at over 750 locations across the country. So whether you want to go out with a baby all the way up to you want to go out with an adult, we can provide a life jacket that's going to fit them. So if you want to invite your neighbors or your friends or relatives, we're going to make sure that you can borrow a life jacket for them instead of having to buy one that's going to fit them. And then our second major program is our Sober Skipper program. And that is encouraging boaters to take the pledge to be a sober skipper. And when they take the pledge, they're going to get a yellow wristband that's going to remind them to be the sober skipper, that they're in charge of everyone on their boat, and that they're going to make sure that everyone on their boat, as well as every other boat around them, can get back safely to the water because they're operating sober.
That's smart.
Thanks.
Perfect. Do you guys have anything new you guys are working on?
Actually, yes. We just updated our first mate checklist. This is available on our store at boatingsafety.com/store, and you can download it for free. And it's a fun little activity sheet that you can do with the kids in your life, whether you're taking your own kids out on the boat or you're taking your nieces and nephews or your neighbors or grandkids. So everyone's able to use it, and it's fun for the kids to be able to help out and be the first mate to the captain on the boat. So they can help find where the life jackets are, and they can help make sure that the bilge pump is working, and they can also check where the flares are in the emergency kit. So it's lots of different things that they can check off the list.
Very cool.
And speaking of flares, I heard ACR is working on something new regarding flares. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, so we understand the boaters' concerns when it comes to flares. They're dangerous. They're a threat to our environment. They're a pain to dispose of properly, and you have to buy them. You have to buy more every 3 years, which basically means you have to go through that kind of same pain cycle every three years as a boater. So, last fall we actually launched a new Eflare called the ResQFlare.
Oh.
And basically, it's compact in size. It has up to 6 miles of visibility, and it will actually operate for over 20 hours.
Wow. So what about the Coast Guard requirements for flares?
Yeah, so actually that's the best part, right? So we actually pair the light with one of the distress flags, as you can kind of see. And so then together, it actually satisfies the USCG requirement as a replacement for pyrotechnic flares. So now you can actually ditch the pyrotechnic flares and replace it with an environmentally safer option like the ResQFlare.
That's fantastic. So how does an E-flare compare to a pyrotechnic flare? What are the advantages?
So there's a lot of real key differences for boaters to understand regarding an E-flare versus a pyro flare. First is really the brightness versus duration consideration. So obviously a pyro flare is much brighter than an E-flare. Typically they'll burn around 600 to 700,000 candela. However, each flare is only going to burn for typically about 3 minutes.
Oh,
so
wow.
that if you have a 4-pack of flares, that's really only 12 minutes worth of signaling light. Additionally, because of the limited number of flares that you have to burn, boaters need to know that they should only fire off their flares when they know another boat is in the area. And that's kind of hard when it's dark out to actually know there's a boat in the area. If not, you're just wasting, one of your 4 valuable flares. So with an E-flare, it's kind of a different story. They put out a 75 candela bright SOS signal. However, that's going to last for over 20 hours. So, not as bright, but actually works for over 20 hours. So the advantage there is the amount of SOS signals that you get over a longer period of time makes the E-flare kind of a more user-friendly and better solution, because instead of waiting to ensure that a boat is in the area, with an E-flare, you just have to activate it and forget it, and you've got more than enough battery power and light to ensure that it's strobing the entire time you need it to. Kind of the other consideration also is, boaters should think about protecting their own inflatable safety equipment, right? So you have inflatable life rafts, you have inflatable life jackets, which are key pieces of survival equipment. Pyrotechnic flares aren't necessarily the best option to be holding overhead of either a life jacket, an inflatable life jacket, or inflatable raft, because you've also got that the hot burning schlag or embers that can come off of those flares and could really actually do some pretty detrimental damage to your buoyancy aid.
Definitely. And I heard that you just need regular batteries in these E-flares.
Great point. I forgot to bring that up. Just pop off the top, and it's just 2C batteries. So, that makes it really a much more economical solution. You're not replacing flares every 3 years. You're just replacing batteries.
Exactly. So an E-flare can last a really, really long time.
It really can.
So how expensive are E-flares, and how are they going to save boaters money?
So again, it's another consideration to make. The ResQFlare is roughly the same price as 2 packs of the USCG Pyro Flare. So you'll typically see it retail for about $70. Mm-hmm. So while buying 1 pack of flares the first year might be cheaper, unless you go into that boating store and you buy a bunch of other things that you didn't plan on buying. But once those flares expire, now you have to go back to the store and buy another pack, and that's when an E-flare really kind of becomes a cheaper and makes more sense option for boaters. Additionally, as we're talking about, post-pandemic or still going through the pandemic time and not really going out into stores as much, E-flares can be purchased easily online, and we can get them to your door in a matter of 2 days. So, whereas typically a pyro flare, you actually have to go to the store and make that purchase. You can buy some of them online, but any pyro flare you buy online is going to come with some really expensive hazmat shipping fees that, I think they looked this morning and the price was in that $50 to $60 range. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to buy pyrotechnic flares online. So that is another real lifesaver and beneficial, especially during these pandemic times.
Definitely. And CETO members, ACR is part of the CETO Savings Club. So CETO members can actually save on ACR E-flares as well as other products, correct?
That's correct. Yep. You can learn more about our ResQFlares and our EPIRB personal locator beacons and searchlights at www.acrartex.com. So it's ACRARTEX.com. And obviously we're part of the Savings Club, so you can log in and get your savings.
Definitely. Wonderful way to save some money on some great equipment, including the PLBs and the EPIRBs as well that you have.
Perfect.
Well, thanks so much, Mikele. I really enjoyed getting a chance to talk to you and learning more about the flares that you're doing and the E-flares too.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Mikele.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.